Charlie Kirk absolutely crushes, you're not going to believe it, folks, a leftist pirate. Yes, I know it sounds ridiculous, but that is how insane some of these lefties have gotten now. They are now dressing up as pirates to, I don't even know why they're dressing up as pirates. I'm not even going to pretend like I do, but we are here. So we're going to get right into it. It's going to be fun. But first, do me a huge favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you all this great, hard-hitting content. And as always, Patriots, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
All right, we'll take one or two more. Oh, we got Johnny Depp here.
Hey, boss, how you doing? All right, so I had a question about something you were talking about earlier. Oh, my bad. So you were talking about science and the church and, like, separating the two? I just fundamentally don't believe that. I want to know where that came from. Because
Say that again.
Science, for me, explains God's creation.
Science, got it.
Yeah, science.
No, I never said separate. No, I said reason and revelation.
You kind of did earlier, though.
No, I never said that. I said reason and revelation are two different matrices of viewing things,
right.
And actually one can point to the other.
Okay, well, for me, I'm saying science explains the world and whatnot, right? That's why I chose science as a course.
Great.
Right.
I think science proves that God is true. I think the more that we study the human genome, the more that we map DNA, the more that we understand the miraculous improbability of our existence.
We're talking about verbiage here a second ago. Let's just talk about how science doesn't prove God. It explains God, if you anything.
Fine.
Right. Semantics, right? That's what we were talking about earlier?
Okay, sure.
What I'm saying is, why does it have any room in our political discussion whatsoever?
Oh, it has a huge role in our political discussion.
Why?
You mean politics or religion or
politics.
what?
Why does religion play any role in politics?
Again, I'll go back to what I said in my opening speech. Can you have a separation of morality and state?
Yes.
Okay, explain that to me. So if we're going to pass a law,
yes,
and we're going to say, do not murder, by
right.
what standard do we believe that?
By any you which please.
By what?
Separation of church and state.
No, I got it.
Says that I can have any reason for believing that.
No.
You're
not,
trying to cut me
following.
off. Chill.
No, you're not. Chill. You're not following. You have to tell me by what standard you get that from.
Calm down.
This guy's arrogance is out of control. You know, when I observe people like this, I just want to, I can't say it, but they are so infuriating. Also, it adds insult to injury when somebody is both extremely arrogant and stupid and ignorant. It drives me insane. This guy rattling on about separation of church and state. You know, it's one of the favorite leftists' gotchas they'll throw out, even though it's not even a gotcha because they have no idea what they're talking about. Separation of church and state, simply put, means that the government can't force some kind of state-sponsored religion on the people. Okay, it doesn't mean that religion doesn't influence our laws. I mean, I can't believe this has to be explained. People are obviously not learning anything in our public or private education system for that matter. And it shows. It is so bad. Our laws and morality from the Constitution are clearly based on religion, not whatever gust of wind blows up your rear end on a given day.
So what I'm saying is I can derive morality from any which way I do believe.
Oh, I agree with that. That's a problem.
Which means Christianity does not need to be the fundamental cause for morality, so I'm saying they should be separate 110%.
Okay, then what cause of morality do you think the state should ascribe to?
There's no basis for morality. Morality is what the collective believes.
Oh, it's what the collective believes.
Like a democracy.
Got it. So under that belief, was Hitler right to kill Jews? They wanted it.
No.
Oh, but that's what the people believe?
Yeah, but there's more than just Germany out there. There's a whole damn world.
Okay, yeah, Soviet Union, they believe that we should imprison the Mensheviks.
There's more people than just Russia.
Okay, Mao's China. Mao China wanted to go...
There's more people than just China. What do you not understand
actually, we're
about
getting
this?
up at like half of the world population at this point.
First of all, so be clear about your numbers.
Hold on, calm down, smart. Okay, so...
You're the one who doesn't know anything.
And so, wait, hold on. If you add up China's population, Russia's population, and the population of Europe...
Which all have different beliefs.
You add up like about half of, the world population.
Which all have different beliefs. What are you talking about?
Right, exactly. So at some point, do you believe murder is objectively wrong?
Yeah, because the collective says it's wrong. What do you mean?
But not in every country do they say it's wrong.
That's the few in power of each of those countries. What are you talking about?
That's not correct.
That is correct. What do you mean?
See, now you're getting a little upset.
I am, because you're objectively trying to lie to the crowd.
So, the collective. This is not a Star Trek episode, okay? But let me walk you through this. In Germany, the body politic wanted bad things to happen to Jews.
And most of the world said that was wrong.
Okay, but the country itself said it was okay. Most of the world right now says abortion is okay. Is most of the world right?
Yeah, probably.
Oh. By what moral standard?
By the one they've collectively agreed upon.
Can the collective ever be wrong?
Probably.
So in world history...
Why are you a man being able to say this when
in world
everyone
history,
here believes God sets the mandate?
So
why are you trying to tell me what it is?
In world history, the entire planet for 2,000 years believed slavery was okay. Was the entire world right?
No, obviously not. We just talked about morality being wrong by the collective occasionally.
Well, okay, I think slavery and mass murder are pretty wrong, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so again, when the collective gets things wrong, then maybe we shouldn't appeal to the collective because the collective has given us really evil things over the years. Instead, we should appeal to something higher than us, something greater.
Has Christianity ever led to anything evil?
Of course, you can use a shovel to dig a ditch or to murder somebody.
What I'm saying is Christianity has no merit above the collective.
Of course it does. By what?
How?
Well, first of all...
That's not the word of God, that's the word of men describing the word of God.
Okay. Have cars ever led to anything evil? Well, of course they have, right? Tens of thousands of people, at least in the United States, lose their lives every year because of cars. Sometimes not by accident either. Well, that just means that cars, they have nothing above the horse-drawn carriage. Probably an argument that this guy would make.
That's a separate issue if you want to discuss that. But I do ask the question, what faith did the founding fathers have?
Separation of church and state.
Okay, again, that actually that's not in the Constitution.
All right, those words explicitly were not in there.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, do you know where that phrase came from?
People escaping religious persecution from their home countries.
Right, so it was Thomas Jefferson's letter to the Danbury Baptist Convention guaranteeing them that the state will not come after them.
He also had slaves, so how is he inherently right? You said people make mistakes.
Of course they can, but that's not even the contention I was making. John Adams famously said, the Constitution, the structure that we care about, is only compatible with a moral and religious people. When the American people are no longer moral or religious, the promise of the Constitution starts to fall apart. And again, I will kind of go back...
Semantics or... Okay. Not moral and religious, moral or religious. People can derive morality outside of religion.
Okay, again, you might come to a conclusion with a blindfold on, but that's a bad way to be able to find truth.
But you're taking your own bias into account, are you not?
So I do have to, and by the way, just so we're clear, John Adams didn't own slaves, so you should also take what he says.
John Adams.
No, I know, I'm just saying you should take what he takes more seriously, but I do want to get down more fundamentally. In the 20th century, we saw mass murder in China, in Vietnam, in the Soviet Union, in Germany, all because they believe the collective morality is correct. Does any of that make you have pause that maybe we should appeal to something greater?
You're also describing places where they had power consolidated at the top.
Yeah.
Well, okay, because the people largely gave it to them, right?
Not necessarily.
Well,
you guys complained for years about a rigged election. You can't think that happened beforehand, before technology was so abundant?
Okay, again, we're now conflating like three separate topics.
No, you're talking about a new issue, and I'm converting to the issue with you.
I do think, while Charlie gave a good response, there's something better he could have said. Power consolidated at the top. Yeah, that's called every government ever, dude. That's literally how it works, all right? What is the definition of state? It's a monopoly of violence, right? You have to have a monopoly of violence, and you have to have power consolidated at the top in order to enable that monopoly of violence. That's how governments work. I can't believe I have to explain this.
So if today, let's do a hypothetical.
Okay.
If today, so actually in 1840.
Okay, that's not now.
Okay, let's even say today. If today all of a sudden there was an up or down vote and people want to bring back, let's just say indentured servitude, would the collective be wrong?
Probably, and I would speak out against that too.
By what definition of wrong are you appealing to?
My own sense of morality that's not derived from religion.
See, this is where you get this, now the final revealing. He's now revealed himself.
What reveal?
It's your opinion versus their opinion. We as Christians believe there's something above both of us that we appeal to.
And I agree with that. I don't agree with your sense of morality. Your sense of morality is a bastardized of the church word.
Okay, fair.
100%.
Not fair enough, but I'm going to go to...
Okay.
But one final thing. Wouldn't we both agree then we need objective, transcendent morality to live under?
Yes.
Objective cannot exist in morality. That is opinionated.
Okay, so therefore, murder cannot objectively be wrong. Child rape cannot objectively be wrong. It's just an opinion.
That is not anything what I just said.
No,
you put those examples for it.
That's actually what I said, right? Let's take child rape.
You're talking about a very deep You're talking about a very deeper issue that is
No, it's actually exactly where this conversation is going.
You're talking about philosophy here, which is beyond the scope of the conversation we're having. Is that not philosophy?
It's religion is a form of philosophy. You know
no, it's not. It's a form of religion.
So what does the word philosophy mean? The word philosophy means what?
A definition of morality.
Let's go back to Greek.
Outside of
what
religion.
does philosophy mean, everybody? Philos, love. Sophos, wisdom. The love of wisdom. And where do you get wisdom from? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
I would argue
Christianity and philosophy are directly connected.
Absolutely not. Wisdom comes from experience. The word of God comes from the bastardization of man. Who wrote the passages in the Bible? Man.
Well, he transcribed them.
That's the same. Oh, sorry. That's the same thing. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I'm sorry.
By what moral standard was it wrong to swear?
I don't find it to be wrong. Personally, I think every adult here cusses, and it's not objectively wrong.
If it's not wrong, why'd you apologize?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
No, if it's not wrong.
Are you ever going to apologize?
Well, I'm sorry, hold on. But why, if it's not, this is important. Why would you, if it's not wrong, why'd you apologize for swearing? There's something in you that said this is wrong.
Because the collective of this room said it's wrong, and I try not to do.
No, they didn't. There wasn't a vote. There wasn't a scorecard like don't vote, like don't swear, not swear.
Who clapped with Christianity?
Okay, yes.
Oh, now they're silent.
Yeah, but
Christianity inherently has taught me throughout my youth not to swear,
has that been a good thing or bad thing for humanity?
I think it's neutral.
It's all subjective, man. It's all up to you, man. There's no morality, man. It's all subjective. What?
It's no difference.
I think it's a good thing we teach people to restrain their tongues. I think it's a good thing for self-control. I think it's a good thing that we teach that your words really matter and that you shouldn't just say whatever you want to say whenever you want to say it. And the fact
I agree with that.
Well, hold on. The fact you interrupted yourself shows that actually the Christian inheritance without you knowing it creates better actions. Because it creates better behavior.
Yeah, I've also seen Christians do the worst shit I've ever seen.
Of course, but how do you know it's bad? You know it's bad because
my own sense of morality. We've been over this.
Right, and Hitler's sense of morality is kill the Jews. If we all have our own...
And the collective said that's not right.
Well, actually, they didn't. He was democratically elected. It's not true.
Of that country. There's more people in a country, dog.
Yes. Again, lots of countries can make collectively awful and terrible decisions.
All right, dog. Sorry, folks, we had to cut it off there. The guy just keeps going and going. It is crazy. But with all that being said, we really hope you enjoyed the clip. As always, folks, comment below. Let us know what you liked about the video, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and hit that subscribe button. And that way, we'll be sure to see you again soon. God bless.